Happy Vlogmas! Good afternoon, everyone. It's Richel here, and thank you guys for tuning in for today's Vlogmas video. We're gonna lay low for today's video, as some of you guys know from yesterday's Vlogmas video. Me, Matt, and Isaac are not feeling well. This is the second time me, Matt, and Isaac have gotten sick in the past, I want to say, month or so. Isaac just started daycare about 2 months ago. So, you know, once kids just enter school, they kind of get sick every other week, and then me and Matt, we catch it from him. Also, on top of that, because of the season, it is definitely, you know, sore throat, cold, flu season. I do feel a little bit better today, which is great. I woke up, you know, my throat wasn't too sore. And I think Isaac also is feeling a bit better because he actually slept really, really well last night. He actually slept in. Usually he wakes up around 6 and he woke up at 8 today, or even like 8:15 or something, which is so unusual. So now that I'm finally feeling better, I did want to share with you guys my remedy and what exactly I do to get better, especially during the winter season. It is not easy being sick when you have an active toddler. Being sick is definitely, it kind of hinders your ability to parent, I would have to say. And because of this, any parent, I'm sure, would agree that you just want to get over your sickness as quickly as possible because it just makes parenting so much more harder when you're sick. First things first, it's so important that when you are sick, you have to rest. If you can take off school, if you can take off work, it is so important that you sleep and rest. So when you're sleeping, not only are you kind of allowing your body to gain some energy, but it's also allowing your body to heal. Basically, think of it as your body is using all of its energy trying to heal and to kill whatever sickness that you have in your body. Okay, second, I would have to say is you have to drink a lot of water. So drinking as much as you can, like always have a bottle of water with you. When you're sick, your body needs the fluid to kind of like flush everything out. And I'm talking about like to the point where you are running to the washroom every half an hour and your pee is pretty much clear. Another advice that I'd like to give is to wear like an ugly sweater. And the reason why I say ugly is because you don't want something that you obviously wear outdoors because you're gonna be sleeping in this. I'm talking about like really like an old sweater, or you buy like a very cheap sweater for this purpose only. So this is from Walmart. I specifically bought this for in the house because it's not like super nice. And I can sleep in it. I can, you know, go around the house in it. Also, of course, wearing your pants and your socks. I know my mom, she likes to wear like a hat when she's sick. And the reason why is because obviously when you're sick, you shouldn't be exposed to like the cold and whatever. But when you're sick, I really believe that when you try to sweat it out, it's actually good for your body. I'm not talking about when you're like overheating where you feel like you can't breathe or whatever. You know, when there's that point when you kind of reach the warmth, when you feel your body kind of like reach that point where all of a sudden you feel like a little tiny like sweat. It comes to a point when you're warming up that you feel like your body internally is warm. To me, once you reach that point and you're sweating just a bit, I think that's perfect for when you're sick. Like obviously when you're sick, you have a fever already. You don't want it to be super high of a fever, but what I'm basically saying is to really bundle up and to kind of like encourage that warm feeling, because that temperature is what's gonna help your body fight off whatever it is that you have. I do feel like, you know, many people like are afraid of a fever. Like they're kind of like, oh, it's a fever, you have to bring it down. But you know what? Fevers are actually good. It shows that your body is fighting something. When you have a fever, it's basically fighting whatever it is that you have. Once your body reaches a certain temperature, it's able to kill off certain things, to kill off the bacteria that you have in your body or the germs. You know, some doctors have told me, like, you know, when your kid is sick, like when Isaac is sick, you know, you should let the fever to kind of like let it take its course. Like obviously if it's super high, we give him a Tylenol or Advil. In my opinion, I find that if you're just constantly just giving Tylenol, I feel like it kind of prolongs the illness. And I've had some doctors tell that to me too, that it's, you know, if it's not super high, if it's like a mild fever, sometimes you could just let it take its course. If you can handle it, you should let your body kind of at least at least for a couple hours, kind of like let your body have the fever so that your body is fighting whatever it is that your body has. Okay, next, I would definitely have to say what me and Matt like. Matt actually introduced this to me. He likes to put lime in warm water with honey, and we feel that it's just comforting. The warmth and the honey soothes your throat. Another thing people like to do is to actually take a spoonful of honey because it coats the throat, and you know, when you're having like cough spells or whatever, the honey actually helps soothe it, and I guess it just coats your throat so it's not as itchy and it's not as irritated, so you can have, like, for example, a better night's rest or something. So then there's the other things that actually make the healing process more comfortable. So things like Halls or like Vicks, where it just soothes your throat. And then there's topical Vicks. You know, for Filipinos, Vicks is like the cure-all for everything. When you're sick or you're congested, putting it on your chest or your back, if you know, or on your forehead. I know my mom puts it on her forehead, like, or on her nose, or even when she has migraine, she puts it on her forehead, and it like helps her rest, and it just makes you feel better. It just helps you breathe better, and just overall gives you more, it just helps to comfort you, especially when you're trying to rest. Then of course there's the medication. For me, I personally like Advil cold and sinus. Obviously there comes to a point when you're sick, when you just feel so sick you don't want to do anything. For me personally, when I'm sick, I feel very achy, you know, my throat bothers me, you just feel kind of chilly and feverish, and something like Advil really helps to kind of to make you feel a lot more comfortable. For me, when I'm sick, I like to take it right before bed, and the reason why is so that I can have a proper night's rest. And if you're having broken sleep because you're not feeling well, it kind of defeats the purpose. It's important to feel comfortable as well when you're sick. So another thing is, especially during the winter, when we're sick, we have this cold humidifier in our room, and what that does, it just basically helps to add moisture into the air, especially because in the winter time it gets very dry. The air gets very dry, so something like that just helps to keep the air moist, and we're not just breathing dry air. Because there are times when we forget to turn it on, and we wake up and like our nose are just so stuffy, and it just feels very dry and very uncomfortable. And when we sleep with it, you just don't feel, when you wake up in the morning, you don't feel that dryness and that discomfort. When you're sick, you know, when you're congested, breathing in that moisture just really helps to clear things, I think. Another thing that which I would recommend is taking a warm bath or a warm shower. I find that when you're in the hot shower with the warmth and like the water, I feel like it just helps to clear out your sinuses, and it also helps to just help you breathe and make things more comfortable. Another thing that I think is really important is taking your vitamins. I never really used to be a true believer of vitamins, because I just felt like, oh, you know, really, what is it doing? You don't really feel a difference. Growing up, we never really took it consistently, but now I try to take it as consistently as possible. I try to encourage Matt to take it as well. Anything that's lacking in your diet, anything that's missing in your diet, vitamins kind of like fills in what's missing. It helps to boost your immune system, and when your immune system is stronger, it helps to kind of keep these illnesses at bay. You can't be without Kleenex. When I'm coming to the end of my sickness, my nose is just running like crazy. I guess it's your body's final way of like cleansing things out. I would also say make sure you have your hand sanitizer, because every time you blow your nose or you cough, you need to be sanitizing your hands. You don't want to be the person who's coughing in their hands and all of a sudden you touch everything that's around you. Also, Vaseline is so important, and the reason why is because, you know, not only when you're congested at night, you're typically probably breathing through your nose, and then your lips will be so chapped when you wake up in the morning. So wearing Vaseline is super important. Also, I find that because if you're blowing your nose constantly, you'll be so like chapped and sore around your nose. So putting Vaseline here or even into your nose really helps with any of the dryness and just that constant irritation that you have there. And then last but not least, when you're sick, you definitely have to be gargling something. For me personally, I like to gargle like Listerine, like the mouthwash, the one that like kills bacteria and stuff. So especially like because when you're sleeping at night, you know, your mouth is closed or open when you're snoring. There's just so much bacteria there, and gargling right when you wake up just helps to kind of like clear everything out, or as much as you can out. I know what some people like to do is like gargling salt water, like warm salt water. That's great too because it helps to kind of remove all the bacteria that's there. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me for today's Vlogmas video. I hope these tips helped you. If you guys have your own tips and kind of like little tricks that you guys do to make yourself get better quicker, please let me know and share it in the comments, because I think if there's a way to get better quicker, I feel like that should be shared with everybody. We will see you guys in tomorrow's Vlogmas video. Thanks, bye.